Stay connected as we discuss shared passions and firsthand experiences intended to enlighten, entertain, and encourage you to try new things. This is not a how-to, this is a why you should. Welcome to the You Should podcast.
Good. Pretty good. Pretty solid crack there.
Not bad.
So tonight we have Kern River Brewing. This is their Church's IPA. And the Kern River line of beers is probably my first or second favorite brewery line of beers. They have such a great, distinct taste to it. I was introduced to them, probably maybe like 7 or 8 years ago up at the Kern River. They have a brewery there. My family's been going there for 25 years. Mike has a little cabin up there. He's up there all the time. And just tasting this, there is a distinct finish to it that most IPAs don't have. So Kern River, Church's IPA, 7%. Easy to drink. There's not a ton of like hops blasting at you. I do enjoy this. Easy to drink. Does have a great distinct taste. And the Kern River just has a special place in my heart.
It's probably the most traditional IPA we've had, right? It's not fruity
call.
at all. It does have some bitterness, but it's balanced. It's easy drinking.
You're right. There is no fruit.
There
is no fruit in this.
It is on the hoppier side of what we have been drinking, but super balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very approachable.
I love it. All right. Welcome to another edition of the You Should podcast. However you're watching or listening, we truly appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and follow all of our social media accounts at You Should Cast. All right, Mike, who's on tap for tonight?
Today's guest doesn't always fish, but when he does, the ocean pauses to see what he'll catch. He's a native son of Orange County, where surf meets style. A proud graduate of Mater Dei High School, the alma mater of champions. And now as a high school teacher, he starts his days shaping the minds of tomorrow. He skis like the wind, sips wine like a sommelier, and his annual pilgrimages to Creekside Campground in Bishop have become the stuff of legend. He's been married longer than most deep-sea fish live, and together with his wife, he's raising 2 amazing teens that know their dad is cooler than most. He cheers for the Lakers with the passion of Jack Nicholson and follows Luka Doncic with loyalty of a former Dallas season ticket holder. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Mr. Brian Alcaraz.
No, we're pumped you're here. Like, we are super stoked. And I think I had talked to you a while ago about being on the podcast. You said, hey, let's do it. I'd love to. And then when we talked about what you were going to talk about, I think this is such a perfect topic because you really do love deep sea fishing. And whenever you go, I mean, I can tell when you talk about it, you do get a little bit of that high vibration when you discuss it. So the first question I have is, how did you start deep sea fishing?
Basically, it's come about over the past 5 years and just had a great time. Prior to that, I had been on boats, didn't fully love it. But, recently I've had a great time with it, and I try to go out as much as possible. So I've actually fallen in love with it recently. It's a great time.
That's awesome. So how old were you when you first started fishing?
I can think back to being at a place called Alondra Park in LA, Gardena, with my dad's class, and he took his kids there on a fishing trip with a piece of board and line wrapped around it. And every single kid there caught fish. I caught fish. I was probably 4 years old. And so we've been fishing for a long time. And that's how I started, actually, with a small little board, throw a line, and we caught tons of bluegill. And from there, it kind of progressed. And, we hit lakes and streams, and we had a great time with it. So, I mean, I've been doing it my whole life. I love it. And it's just kind of evolved, and it's gotten better and better as time has gone on. I really enjoy it. It's a great time.
And then Mike mentioned Creekside, where you guys go every year. And how old were you when you guys first started going up there?
So we've been going to the Sierras since I was, again, very, very young. And I love fishing creeks. You're out in nature. You're not standing still like you are on a lake. You're moving through it. We used to go to Bishop Creek, and then someone turned us on to Creekside, and we met some great people up there. The owners were Ron and Donna and their family who used to own it. And, we've been going up there for, 26 years. And, it's a great spot. You've got several lakes up there, but I'm partial to the creek. I love it. I know it by heart, and we do pretty well up there.
It's so true because I've been, Lenny Brian knows my dad really well. So he grew up Pennsylvania, huge fisherman, comes out here. He got seasick one time on a boat and he's never been in the water again. So when we started fishing, it was always on the shore, right? And I was saying the bobber. There's nothing like seeing that bobber when it gets the nibble and it goes and then it disappears. But after a while, that does get boring. And you're right. When you transition into a creek or a stream or a river and you're just working, you're walking, you're constantly it just, to me, when I started doing that, fishing just kind of got ratcheted up to a great spot.
Stream fishing is almost like hunting in a way, right? Because you're looking at the stream and you're like, where are the fish going to be? Just like if you're going to hunt, right? You're going to, well, where are the game going to be? I'm going to go find the game. Same thing with stream fishing. You're not just randomly walking up, throwing out in the middle and hoping for the best.
No, you're not. You're looking for where that water is pooling, where it slows down a little bit. The fish are not going to be biting where the water's running really, really hard. So, it's a bit of a skill in controlling the line with that running water and moving that line to where you want it, to where it slows down. I mean, we've all seen a river runs through it when, he caught that massive fish. It's really similar. When that water is stopped and slow, if you can get that line there, if you can get that bait there, they're going to hit it if they're there. And so it is a skill. It does take time, but most people have a hard time controlling the line in those, especially with all the, the overgrown brush. But it's a good time, and I like to move around, so I like it better than the lake.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you're up at Creekside, what is your bait of choice when you guys go up there? Usually late June, right? That's when you're up there. When you're stream fishing.
I like jigs. I like jigs because I don't have to change the bait so often. But recently, I've started using worms, the night crawlers, and the reason I'm using those guys is because you can catch a variety of fish. You can catch the brown trout. Those guys are predators, and they go after only live bait. Whereas the stalkers, they're going to eat the worm, they're going to eat the power bait, they're going to pretty much eat anything. So I like the worms, and I like them also because with the power bait, the trout tend to swallow that bait, and I don't want to kill the fish. If I want to throw them back and, not keep them, I don't want to kill them. That's why I do that.
Yeah, I'm all about the night crawlers. Like, it is funny.
It.
I mean, there's just, again, in my head, that's what I think. There's just something about the live bait. They're going to want this more. I don't know why. What about you? What do you use, Mike, when you go? Like, are you a big...
I'm not a big fisherman, so I'll typically use whatever everybody else is using. I'm going to follow suit because I don't know enough to make that decision. But I've used both, throwing jigs or putting a worm on a hook.
Well, growing up, do you remember so we started, late 70s probably is when I started, mid to late 70s. And it was just night crawlers. And then the plastic worm, remember that? The little plastic worm came out, then power bait, right? Remember when power bait came and the smell, and that was like a fish will never not bite on power bait.
If they're stocked trout, that's basically what they're eating in the fish hatcheries.
Yeah.
So they are swallowing that bait. It's going straight down. You're not losing that fish. Yeah, it's big, for sure.
But power bait, right? So if people aren't familiar with what power bait is, it's essentially stinky Play-Doh.
Correct.
Bright colored
with
synthetic.
Different colors, and there's the garlicky and this chartreuse and I don't know if any of it matters, but it's pretty effective. It's not effective with the local fish though. They don't go for it. Only the stalkers.
So you grow up fishing lakes, rivers. What prompted you to want to go deep sea fishing and just see what that's all about?
I think that's just the evolution of me and fishing and getting older. My dad would always take us to piers. We would fish on piers. My father exposed us to half-day fishing boats. And then I didn't have any equipment. We would always rent equipment. And then it kind of evolves into something that I'm going to retire in about, 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. It's something that I really want to do in the future consistently, like once a month over the past 5 years. I love it. It's great.
So when you get on a boat and you're getting out to the harbor and you're chugging through and then you get onto the open ocean and you get out there, like when do you feel like, man, this is really cool? What's that moment look like for you?
Well, when the fish start hitting. I mean, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of being out there. You know, you love being out in the water. You're at nature. It's you versus the fish. But when those fish start to hit and you feel that pull bend, it's pretty amazing. You know, it's a competition between you and that animal, and some of them are, you know, pretty big. So
yeah. And so how are you getting to the fish? Is it just radar, or does it depend on like the boat you go out on?
They know. I mean, they put you right on fish.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the equipment they have? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the equipment
Fish
they have.
detecting sonar.
Yes, goes straight down and they'll tell you how deep it is. And literally the last boat I was on, which is the Fury, they go, they're under the boat, they're big. And of course, next thing you know, the rod is bending. It's pretty crazy. So it's a great experience out there. It really is. And I go by myself all the time. I don't need to go with anyone else. It's just, I love it. And you meet people and everyone's nice on the boat. It's great.
I imagine it would be a great vibe because, again, everyone shares your same sentiment where they're pumped to be out on a fishing boat in the middle of the ocean on a nice day, catching a bunch of fish. If you're doing a day trip and you're not going to go overnight, what time are you arriving? What time are you getting on a boat? What does that look like?
It depends. So the local one, you know, Davies Locker, they leave around, I think it's 6 a.m. Dana Wharf leaves around 10. Those are half-day fishing boats, which are great for novice fishermen. They go about 6 hours, and you're trying to catch fish right away on those guys. So,
I mean, is that as soon as you're out of the harbor, out past the break line, they're like starting to get lines ready to go?
They're trying to catch fish as soon as possible, within half an hour.
Right. Wow.
So the 3/4 day boats, oftentimes those guys will go further out. So there's more travel time, less fishing, but the options of catching bigger fish are there for you.
Right. So if you're doing a little half day, and I would imagine, again, time is of the essence, what type of fish are you usually getting on those guys?
It depends on the season. You know, if it's colder water, right now they're catching rockfish, they're catching sculpin, they're catching a few halibut. I check these counts every single day. You're catching some red snapper, which is a good fish. If you like to eat those. They're really good. And then summertime, when it warms up, you know, the prize is the yellowtail. Is the yellowtail. You know, that's the prize. That's the fish that it'll battle you, and it'll let you know it's there. And they're super smart. Amongst other fish, calico bass. If you catch some big ones of those guys will fight you. Some sand bass. You know, and occasionally bluefin tuna come through, but the water's got to be right. You know,
So yellowtail are attainable on a half-day boat?
they are in summertime, and they can be local. But again, it's got to be the right conditions.
Right.
Like right now, there's no yellowtail. If you look at any fish count, there's no yellowtail at all.
So this time of year, what are you typically going out after?
Sculpin, halibut, a few bass. There's whitefish out there. The red snapper.
You're on the bottom.
You're pretty much on the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, you're dropping the lead weight. You got a dropper loop going, and you're catching fish, and it's fun. And I'll tell you, it's great for anyone beginning, because if you just take a look at the fish counts a day before, you're going to catch fish. So that success is really what drives a lot of people to wanting to come back. Success is huge.
It's so true. We always talk about that, right? Like if the first time you go to Mammoth, there's a blizzard, you may never go back there. Oh, it was horrible, right? I feel like with fishing, that is, oh man, we were on a boat for 8 hours. It was boring. We didn't get one bite. I was standing around. I had to rebait my hook. You know what I mean? It's like you just but if you come back at your limit, I mean, that's an amazing win.
So Mark never been deep sea fishing, right? But he's always wanted to go. So he's going to, per your recommendation, he's going to find a little half-day charter, right? He's going to pay the fee to get on the boat. He's going to go rent whatever the expert tells him he needs for a half-day charter based on the time of year. He's going to come out with his rental setup. He's going to get on a boat, and he has no idea what to do, right? So he pulls out his power bait and his night crawlers, right? Because he's a stream and lake fisherman, right?
I think that's when they throw you overboard.
No, I mean, I got to assume the deckhands and the captain of the boat want him to be successful.
100% they want you successful, but there's only one way to learn, and that's making a lot of mistakes.
Is there an etiquette when you're on a fishing boat?
You have to follow your line, and you have to keep your equipment in check. You have to
Meaning
keep your
don't get
stuff-
tangled if your line's going somewhere. So are you constantly moving on that boat?
You are constantly moving on the boat. It's a little bit of chaos, and so they want they want some order. But again, like I was saying, they want you successful. They do. They want you coming back. They want those fish counts high. So the deckhands are great. The captains are great. I really think that they caught on to that. I think that, who knows, social media or whatever was knocking these guys, because I don't know if people wanted to get on a boat for the same reason that maybe I didn't as a young person. When more people go on boats, they sell more food on the boats. When more people go on boats, they get with, the tickets, and they charge you to clean the fish. So all of that adds up for these guys. And so the more success they have, it's a business. It's what they, it's good for them.
Right.
So if Mark jumps on this boat not knowing what he's doing, is it better for him to follow what everybody else is doing and try and fit in, or make it known, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing, so look out for me because I'm new at this?
So, Mike, that's a great point. I feel like whenever we do something new, there is an intimidation factor. If I've never golfed before, I show up to the golf course. Am I doing it right? Where should I go?
I got my Tiger Woods hat. That's all
Right,
that matters,
yeah.
right? I fit in.
I got my red shirt on. I'm ready to
right.
go. Let's do this. Yeah, I think that's such a great question. There is that intimidation factor. What kind of advice would you offer to somebody that maybe is holding back a little bit just because they just don't want to look out of place?
You can always charter a boat. You can always go with friends, and friends that may know and probably do know more than you.
And Brian will be leaving his cell phone number. We're going to put that on the screen.
He's available for hire.
He's available for hire. Not even hire. He'll go with you. The guy loves fishing. He wants to go once a month.
Sure. Or more. Hopefully more. Yeah, so chartering a boat's one thing. I mean, you can always charter a boat.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make mistakes, who cares? I mean, who cares if you make mistakes anyways?
I feel like everybody's been there. Everybody's been that first time. Right.
You have to.
Yep.
Other than that, a half-day boat, limited load. That means they have a maximum number of people. They call them cattle boats when they have 50 people on those. And it's tough. Lines are everywhere. There's a lot of inexperienced people. There's a lot of tangles, and that's a problem. So limited load, half-day is a great start. And renting a rod is probably the best way to go until you figure out, if you really love it, then you can start forking out some money, and then it's not going to stop.
So typically, what is a good setup cost? Like if you're going to go rod, reel.
What's entry level? Like there's more than one
entry
setup.
level, right?
Yeah. You're almost wasting money if you don't get something decent.
Right.
Because it's like buying a $5 t-shirt that's going to last you 2 weeks and it's done.
Right.
Might as well get something decent and good. That's my opinion. It's going to cost you around, for everything, probably $400 for one. I think that it's a good price, and you get something comfortable for you, and you can kind of progress from there.
And I got to imagine there's a secondary market for gear. If $400 is out of your price range, right? People are upgrading all the time. What am I doing with my old reel I'm not using, right? People are going to get rid of stuff. Is that a possibility, or is it a never use someone else's gear?
Oh, no. Absolutely. That happens. That happens quite frequently. I have 4 rigs set up. I have 4. Most people consider that a starter kit. It's just the tip of the iceberg. For right now, that's plenty. That's plenty for me.
So when you're looking, let's say you're going to go, and the day before you're looking at the fish count, are you also deciding what reels you're going to take, what setups? How do you approach that?
Well, I think the big thing there is I have setups for everything I would need out here. I have enough. And if I take 4 rods on a boat, well, that's a good number. That's about right, especially if it's an overnight boat. But the big thing is size hooks, the rig setup, what pound test, what are they catching? And you want a variety of that stuff with the rods, 20, 25, 30, 40 pound test. So you want to be prepared At least I do now as I go more. I keep getting a little bit better every single time.
So when you say test, if people aren't familiar with fishing line, they come in different sizes. So explain test. Like people say like 20-pound test. What does that refer to?
The higher the number, the stronger the line, the bigger the fish you have the potential to catch. So look, if you're going for bluefin tuna, you need to throw minimum 60, 80-pound test on there. Otherwise, you're going to be in deep shit.
So that's like thick. That's like spaghetti noodle thick.
It's thick, and you have to have the right reel to handle that amount of line. Otherwise, you get spooled. It just takes it all. You're done.
So you pretty much have to go out with what most likely am I going to catch, right? And then if you do hook something bigger, then it's just, hey, let's see what I can do with this. What's your best experience with? I had a 25-pound test and I got a 70-pounder on the boat. Have you had one of those?
I can tell you when I made a huge mistake, when I was not prepared. I can tell you that.
That's the story we want.
So first of all, I get on the boat with 4 buddies. And the first thing I do is take out a banana. Apparently bananas are bad luck, which I had no idea. I had no idea. Now you guys know.
Yeah, wow.
So they're bad luck. My buddy Nate says, dude, throw that overboard right now. Quick, throw it, quick, throw it. Don't let anyone see you, throw it. I'm like, okay, what the hell? What the hell's going on here? So I threw the damn banana overboard. And, next day we left that night. So it was an overnight boat. It's wide open bluefin tuna. When I say wide open, what wide open means is everybody is freaking catching fish. Everyone hooks up. It's complete mayhem. All poles are bent. I have 40-pound test. 40-pound test. That's the best I had. Probably not good enough. My buddy Jason got dragged around the boat 3 times. 3 times with his bluefin tuna. He caught the biggest fish that time. But he was able to get it in after 30 minutes. Dragged him around. He was wiped out. He was done. This bluefin tuna was 90 pounds. I got dragged around that boat. Same amount. I had him longer with my 40-pound test. Captain comes by, checks my line. Everything's good. Guy next to me, there's 2 people standing next to me. You know, I'm just bent and I'm just hanging on for dear life. I'm like, oh my God. I'm not gaining on this thing. It's just kicking my ass. Guy next to me goes, man, you better get that fish in. The hole from the hook's it's getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He goes, you got to tighten the drag. And the guy next to me is like, so I tightened the drag and the pole that was like this went straight, snapped within 10 seconds.
Yeah.
After, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes, gone, done. History. And the guy to my left is just shaking his head. He's like, you shouldn't have done that. Crazy. But I blame the banana for this. I blame the banana. And it took me like 3 years more to catch something big after that. It was a jinx.
That's probably a great learning lesson that you had, right?
Yes.
It's that, you hear guys, if you're just beginning, you think these guys are so much more skilled.
Yeah, if you think someone knows more than you, you're going to take their advice. So for people that don't know, didn't understand what 20-pound test was, 40-pound test, what's drag?
The drag is on the reel. You can tighten it to your liking. You want to have tension on a fish. When you pull it, they're feeling that tension. You want to try to wear them out. That's why there's drag. You don't want it too tight because they can snap it, especially if it's a big animal. And you don't want it too loose because they'll spool you. And what does that mean? That means they're going to run the whole thing out. And that's it. And it's gone. So just the right amount, you can feel it. It's tight. They can still move that line, but they're going to get worn out. That's what you want.
So if the fish are strong enough and swimming away from you, it will take line off of your reel.
If it's strong enough, it's taking it. That bluefin, I would gain, and it would gain more.
Right.
Yep.
So the key is that balance point of setting your drag to where it's tight enough where it's difficult for the fish to pull your line out, but not so tight that it's going to exceed the strength of your line and snap it.
That is correct.
Okay.
And with the story on that bluefin tuna, I was not prepared. The line was not heavy enough. I needed to probably go 60 or 80-pound test on that.
But theoretically, had you not adjusted your drag and you fought it for another 2 hours, you could have, with a small line, brought that fish up to the top and caught that fish.
100%. Absolutely. Yes.
And there are some, my understanding is there's some pretty experienced fishermen that will fish probably slightly bigger fish on smaller line for that reason, because it's now more skill.
They want to break records.
Right.
And so they want to be that person that can do it and is there are some highly skilled people out there. I mean, they are amazing. Every time I go on a boat, right, I learn something new. And so that's the only way you get better. The only way you get better is you got to ask questions. They're more than willing to help you out. If you can get 1 or 2 things every single time, it's experience. That's how you get better. It's fun.
Reeling in the 90-pound bluefin on a 2-pound test.
Hey, if you got the skills.
Right. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 2-pound test is probably not going to work.
Yeah, I would agree.
If you're catching one of those guys on 20-pound tests, you're a rock star.
Yeah.
Well, how does it compare when you're deep sea fishing versus in a lake or a stream? Like, again, the 3 or 4 pound trout, how does that compare to a 40 or 50 pound fish?
It doesn't. You're basically using bait as big as the trout. So it does not compare. You love the stream fishing, but when you hook one of those fish, and I remember the first yellowtail that I caught. It was only about 16 pounds, backside of Catalina, and is on one of the poles that I have here right now. I look at the deck hand, and I go, "What do I do?" He goes, "Just hang on, just hang on." I mean, that's 16 pounds of muscle. It's a nasty fish. They're badass. They go. So there is no comparison. These animals drag you around. There's not much you can do. You just have to have that drag and patience to get through the battle and have the right equipment. Like my equipment, I put myself at like 30 or 40% chance. My new stuff, I put myself at like 60%. So it's the playing field is a little bit more in my favor now, which is what I want. I want success.
Right. And I think that's one of the reasons you probably like it, because it seems, when we do our stream or lake fishing, I mean, you have the fish in the net in 20, 30 seconds, right? Or maybe, whoa, this guy really fought. It was 40, 49 seconds. But when you're fighting something 20, 30, 40 minutes, that also, you're working, right? I know like in sports, we say a zone, but is there a spot when you have that fish, you are in just a zone?
You're locked in. You are locked in. No one else counts. Until they tangle your damn line.
You son of a bitch, you didn't see me coming down here with this.
No, oftentimes it's just not their fault because if they have a fish on the line too and they just go wherever the hell they want, they're crossing lines. So it's tough. But
so you're constantly looking at that as well. So you're dealing with the fish, you're making sure that's good. But then also as you maneuver around the boat, you're also cognizant of everybody around you.
You are, especially when they're hooked up. And hopefully, ideally, when you're hooked up with a good animal and people know it, I mean, you're bent and you're struggling.
Right.
They need to not put their line in when you have that fish. They need to go to the other side of the boat.
Right.
They do. I mean, it's common sense. These are common courtesies. Most people understand that.
Right. So talk about that for a minute. What are some of just the basic, again, Mark's coming on for his first time. What are just some basic fishing boat etiquette rules that everybody should follow?
Follow your line. You got to follow the line. So as that fish moves, you have to move.
And is there do you go behind or in front?
You go over and under.
Over and under.
You go over and under you go over and under people, and you're moving that pole and shifting it. And a lot of people don't get that. And it's important when the deckhands give a little tutorial on how that actually works. So that you're moving, so that, again, they want success. They want you catching fish. It's not the ones that got away that winds up in the newspaper.
So over under, real quick, you have a fish and your line is further out in the water than my line that's going straight down. If your fish is coming this way, he's going to go over my line. So I'm going to crouch down. He's literally going to pick his pole up and go over where I'm standing.
That happens a lot. But, I was in a boat 2 times ago when I lost out on a very, very large yellowtail, which was a bummer because 7 lines got tangled. I mean, 7 of them. And they'll go straight. and they were yellowtail because that's what that was at San Clemente Islands. And these fish will go straight to the anchor or straight to a rock, and everyone's line is tangled, and the deckhands are literally trying to yank lines and try to figure things out. And yeah, it's crazy. But they, again, they're trying to help out. They want you to catch the fish.
So have you ever done you've crossed somebody's line, but you got a fish on?
Well, Mike, the age we're at, you never cross the
Across the
stream, dude.
streams.
Come on.
So, I mean, last time I was deep sea fishing, I was a teenager with my dad, but there was a deal where you could, let a lot of line out so your fish would take off. Now, one line moving, one line's not moving. The line that's moving will theoretically saw through the line that's not moving. So you will cut someone else's line, but you saved yours. Are you aware of this? Have you tried this?
Have you ever snipered anybody?
I have never snipered anybody.
Okay.
I have never done that. No.
I hear it's a thing.
I think it is a thing. I mean, you make it a thing, it's a thing, right? I have never done that. I have never seen that.
Okay.
So I'm unaware. I know that, with the two different lines, there's braid and there's mono. And braid tends to be able to, if you hit that braid,
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like the braid because it snaps the mono, dink, and then your fish is gone.
So braided line is just that. It's small fibers that are braided together or woven together, like parachute cord essentially, but really, really fine, versus monofilament, which is a flexible one piece of plastic.
You just nailed it.
Okay.
Yes. The mono is very, very flexible. I mean, it's people's choice on these things too. The braid, that guy is thinner, less flexible. You can get more of it on your reel. I have some braid and I have some mono. So
So you're ready to slice and dice if you have to. I mean, if you do have the fish of a lifetime, I feel, because you are such a good, honest person, I feel like that would be really hard for you to just cut somebody's line, right? Or no? If you had the fish of a lifetime.
I can't do that. I'm sorry. I can't. No. You have to deal with these people for the remainder of the trip. And
That's such a great point.
I don't want to get thrown overboard. If they have
So have you ever seen like tempers flare when you've been out on a boat? And to your point, it's not like you can just walk away and, hey, I'm out of here. Is everybody, again, they're out there, they're having fun, you're fishing. Let's not get fired up because so-and-so's line got tangled or.
People are serious. They're focused. I've never seen anyone take it that far, which is nice to see, right? But they're there to fish. I mean, these people you go on overnight boats, you go on a 1.5-day boat, you go on a 2-day boat. They're there to catch stuff, and they're focused on themselves, which they should be. I mean, they paid a lot of money for these trips. They want to catch fish. I get it. No problem.
Yeah, for sure. So you told us about a great loss at sea. Tell us about a great win that you had.
Well, I mean, recently, 40-pound yellowtail is pretty impressive. I bought a new reel because I was pissed. I lost the fish before. Part of the reason why I love it so much is because I've sucked and I've made so many mistakes. And I see everyone happy when they bring a big one in that I want to go. So 40-pound yellowtail is a nasty animal. I mean, they go. And I bought a new pole, new reel, and the reel that I got is a 2-speed reel. So every time you're reeling it, instead of going 6 times, once you have that fish on, you hit the button, and it's that second speed. It's slower, but it has more power, and then it causes that fish just to come right up. And when I caught that large yellowtail, I mean, 40-pound yellowtail is it's a good animal. It really is.
And when he just went in and struck it, did you know immediately, like, okay,
Yes.
this is a big one?
It's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a big one. The pole was bent. With the new reel, it didn't take me as long to get him in.
What was the time frame?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe 10 minutes with the right equipment. Once again. And that pole and reel weren't that much. Like we said earlier, probably around $400. So when you catch something like that, and that's the tip of the iceberg. You catch 100. People talk about catching 300-pound bluefin tuna. I mean, yellowfin, all that stuff, marlin. This is a small guy, but it's still fun. It's
Right.
still great. in the fact that, you're out at sea, you're at nature, it's you versus this animal, and you're bringing in a good fish. It's really cool.
No, that's awesome. I feel like that, again, yeah, it's just super cool. Like, it's not a 1 pound catfish, bluegill, sunfish. So we talked about beginners going, if I'm a dad and I have, a couple kids I want to take for the first time, which again can be intimidating because I've never been fishing. My kids have never been fishing. I don't want to be that guy that's causing the disruption on the boat. And now I got 2 kids and they're getting their lines tangled and people are out there being serious, trying to, hey, I'm out here to catch fish. What recommendation would you give to the dad listening or mom listening that, hey, I want to get out on a boat, take my kids, have a fun day, but not be a nuisance to everybody else?
Go. Just go. Sign up. Everything has changed. They're really, really nice on boats. They really are. And they cater to the kids. They cater to people that, especially those half-day boats, 3/4 day, they're fine. They'll talk them through stuff and they'll set up their lines for them, rent a pole, and there won't be any issues. I haven't seen any issues. They're there to support everyone. And I see kids all the time. When I go out there, I see them all the time.
So let's talk bait real quick on a deep sea fishing boat, right? So again, you're not pulling out your little jar of power bait or your night crawlers, right? So,
Michael?
No,
He loves that power bait topic.
He does, man.
I love
That
it,
guy's
man.
never used it, but he loves talking
love
about it.
I've seen it. I've played with it and smelled it. It's horrible.
Fish like it.
Smelly
fish
play,
like
though, you're
it.
right.
But what's the bait situation like? Am I responsible to have 50 different jigs and setups in my tackle box, expecting to know exactly what to use?
Yeah, that's a great question.
No. Live bait on the boat. You go with that. Live bait or you go squid. And they'll have
Do
everything.
they charge you for that, or
No.
that's your fee of going on the boat?
That's the fee for going on the boat. Like one of the first things they do is they go to the dock and they get scoops of whatever they need. Sardines or anchovies, depending on the size. And the bait matters. Like that's the biggest part of it. If there's fish out there, you want to choose the best bait possible. Healthiest looking animal that's going to move. Anything with red noses, anything with bruises on the side, missing scales, you avoid them. You throw them to the birds. You get rid of them. They're no good because you want that action. Oftentimes there's Dorado under there, yellowtail, something like that. But you're good on bait.
So they're gonna provide the bait, live bait, and then there's like a tank, I would guess, right, where you have to go pick your bait. So you're gonna look in there, and there's a bunch of little fish swimming around, whatever it is. So that's what you mean. Pick the healthiest one. Don't pick the one with a missing eye and one fin.
That is correct. They'll scoop them out of the larger tank and they'll put them like in a well. There's multiple wells with 3 different sides to where more people can get to them. And you're looking for the best one, and you scoop that guy. You can either go nose. Some people go nose through the nose. Some people go through the belly.
What do you like?
I like the nose.
Just because more of the body's just hanging out there?
Yeah.
Or what's
Seems
the
more aerodynamic, doesn't it?
It does seem more aerodynamic. I have been, other people say differently, but I like the nose. And, size of bait means you have to have the right size hook as well. So it can't be too big a hook for small bait and vice versa.
Okay, so I'm on the boat. I realize, okay, they're going to provide me bait. They got a bunch of live anchovies. You lucked out. You got live bait. I don't know how to bait a hook. Do I ask the guy next to me? Do I go up and talk to the captain that's driving the boat? Like, how
Probably
do
not
I
that
figure
guy.
out how this, am I using the right hook? Like, where do I ask for advice? Am I doing this right? Am I set up for success?
Anyone you ask on the boat is probably going to help you out. I mean, they're good. They're good peeps. Guys, girls, whoever's on there. There's a lot of knowledge, and if I see something different, again, I pick their brains because I want to learn something new. So you would talk to them. You could talk to a deckhand and say, "Hey, how would you bait this? And what do I got to do?" And they'll help you out. So you want that line. I have had a hook go through my hand before.
damn?
That's a good
Because
one.
because I was inexperienced. My line was too tight. And it jerked it and went right through it. And you want it loose and then just pop it through.
And was that a huge gash?
It went straight through and the captain got it out. I have no idea how the hell he got it out.
He didn't cut the hook?
I was trying to push the hook through.
Yeah.
I was using my entire force to try to get it through. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get the goddamn thing through.
Yeah.
And so he he said, I'm gonna try this this old captain's trick right here with like some monofilament.
Yeah.
He goes, I need you to turn around.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not a big deal to me. All right, so I turned my head, and he just jerked it. I didn't feel anything.
Wow.
Hook came out. I think he put pressure on the barb.
Yeah.
And was able to get it out because that barb was stuck there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's kind of like the knife, right? If you get stabbed with a knife, most of the damage is done when it comes out, right? Like that's like that hook. It's like that's gonna.
So for the record,
All right,
if you get
put it on the
stabbed
record.
with a knife and it's in you, leave it in you.
Yeah.
Right? Because it is plugging the hole, and that plug is what's keeping you alive sometimes. Pulling it out is quick death, right? So
it's not like the movies where you can just pull it out, wipe it on your pants,
pull it out,
move,
stab the guy that stuck it in you. No.
and just move along with your day.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
absolutely. Crazy.
I think another big question most people have if they've never been deep sea fishing or been on a boat in the ocean is the seasickness aspect. Again, I would say, well, you're not going to know until you get on a boat. But again, I've never been on a boat. I want to go fishing. Maybe I have a buddy I'm taking or I have my kids I'm taking. How do you approach that aspect? Because as soon as you tell people that you're going deep sea fishing, oh my God, you're going to get seasick. You have this, or that. How do you approach that personally? And what advice would you give to people that have never been and just don't know?
You don't want to be on a boat when it's got high surf, high waves.
Yeah.
That's number one. It's a miserable trip. I mean, pretty much, I've never been on one of those, but everyone's throwing up.
Yeah.
It's bad. So number one, you probably want to avoid that. Number two, if you've never been, you got to try it out. You got to just go. I don't take anything. I don't need anything, but that's me. Other people,
I mean, like Dramamine, those
Yes.
over-the-counter,
Do it all.
you can get medical patches. You can get patches. There's Dramamine. I don't know what the patches are, but I've seen people with them. You can do Dramamine.
It's a prescription, right? Those patches. You can go.
Correct.
Usually, you can just go to your primary care physician, and be like, "Hey, I'm going deep sea fishing," and
Slap it on.
They'll prescribe you a medical grade something. You slap that on. You get the plastic bases off of Amazon. Anything that says it will keep you
The
from getting
bracelet, I like
seasick,
that.
you do all that shit. You do it all.
slap the patch on, put the
Patch,
bracelet on,
bracelets,
take
patch
the
behind the ear,
Dramamine.
Dramamine.
But I think that is a real concern people have because if you've been seasick, that is one of the top 5 miserable times in your life. Everyone will always. What was one of the most miserable times in your life? Oh my God, I went on a boat and I got seasick.
Absolutely. Listen, I got a good buddy who used to come with us on these deep sea fishing trips, the overnight boats, and one time he got sick. And that was it.
Yeah.
He's done. He will never go again because he was that miserable. I also feel like being outside, wind in your face,
Looking at the horizon.
that's always a good thing. You go
Yeah.
inside and you start seeing that boat tilt and it can start to get you. For
Right.
sure.
If you start to feel seasick, is there any way to rebound?
Thank God I don't know. I don't know the answer to that because I've never gotten seasick. Knock on wood.
Right. That is a knock on wood. Seriously, do it right now because I
Yes.
feel like
All right, I'm knocking on my leg. I don't
the,
want
the
to
fishing gods. No, the fishing gods. Like I'm a huge golfer, and I always say you never complain about a par because if you do, let's say I miss a 2-foot birdie putt and I get a par. If you start complaining about pars, like guaranteed the golf gods the next 2 holes, right, are just shit. So the other question I had is drinking on a boat. Like when you go out, how do you have a couple beers? Do you? Again, me never having gone, I want to go out and with my buddies, I want to have a couple beers. Does that part, like, how do you manage that?
You can buy beer on the boat. It's not very expensive. It's cheap, especially for the domestic ones. People bring beer on the boats. You're not supposed to, but nobody says anything.
Right.
People bring them on. I love my wine. You know that. I don't really drink on boats. I don't know why. I may have a beer. That's it.
Yeah, you're not there to get hammered and
No, I'm there to fish. I want to have some fun, and fun is getting up at 4 a.m, being put on fish,
right.
and then fishing all day. I love it. And by the way, the prices, they're not bad.
Yeah, so to do a half day, like what type of
$60?
Okay.
60, 65.
And then if you're going to rent maybe another $40-$50.
If you're gonna rent,
Like if you're going to rent like a reel rod,
$15. $15.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. And I think people, if that's something you want to try and check out, you should check it out. It's a good time.
So hidden costs, right? So I'm $60 to get on the boat. $15 for rental setup so that I can fish. What other costs? Like there's going to be some food costs, right? They got a little snack bar in there. You can get a burger or a Snicker bar or a Coke or, 12 beers, whatever you're.
Is there a guy like whipping up burgers on like a little hot plate back there? Is there? Please tell me yes, because that would
Yes.
Oh my dude,
Yes.
that's amazing.
It's good.
It's nice and greasy and great salty.
Best breakfast sandwich ever.
Frickin'
It has to be, right? It has to be.
Seafood. They got breakfast burritos. They got breakfast sandwiches. They got quesadillas, and they do a burger. They do a burger at lunch. So you got coffee, and all you do is put a little tab down.
Right.
You just, it's really based on a trust system.
Yeah.
They're pretty good about that, and people are good about putting it down. You want to, grab a beer, or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, you can get all that stuff. The good thing, though, is that the food is not that expensive. It's a good deal. It really is. The prices aren't bad. You can do an overnight boat. The prices aren't bad. It's great.
So cost, right? So we got some built-in food costs there. So you're going to budget a little bit of food costs.
Tip.
Let's talk about tips. What are we tipping?
So Brian, this was a huge thing Mike and I were talking about. Me and you, I was telling Mike, we worked in the restaurant industry for a long time.
We tip.
I told Mike that you were the best tipper. Of all the people I know, you are an amazing tipper. And I just feel like, how do you handle the gratuity on a boat?
I like 20% still.
Okay.
I really do. I mean, think about that. Think about that number. Okay. You're $60, $65, whatever the case may be, plus your bar tab. All right. You're having a great day catching some fish. You pay for the cleaning of the fish. What's the big deal if you give him $20? 15? I mean, I'm going to give him a little bit more. $20 versus 15%, $5 out of my pocket.
Sure.
Versus, if everyone did that for them, I'm stoked for them.
So you're tipping $20. Is that $20 per deckhand?
No.
Okay.
That's for the boat, and they have a jar next to you, so you have to pay the bill. The bill constitutes the fish cleaning plus your tab at the the snack bar, so to speak.
Okay. And they're charging you per fish to clean your fish.
Yes, it's minimal, unless it's if it's a big fish, if it's a big sea bass that we like if it's like a 60-pound sea bass, and those are bigger than this table right here, they charge a little bit more.
So what are they hitting you average per fish? Is it $5 per fish?
Yeah, like $5, $3.
And they're going to fillet your fish for you.
Yeah, put them in bags.
Right. So they're taking all the hard work out for you. You can go home and you can slap this thing in a frying pan and beat it up.
Boom. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, you also have the option of you can take your whole fish home and do whatever you want with it.
You absolutely have that option. A lot of people want the heads. The Asian culture says heads best part.
Soup, baby.
Soup.
I feel like Mike would definitely want the head. This guy would definitely want the head. So if you don't know, Mike he brews his own beer, right? He has a pizza oven. He has a home garden. Like this guy I feel like you would take those fish heads and do something.
I would do it once. I would try it once.
What would you do though with it? Soup?
Yeah, miso soup.
Or like just throw it out in the garden and see what happens?
No. Well, there is that. Like, so fish meal is actually a thing. Like you can buy like ground up fish to put in your garden for your soil. But yeah, miso soup. Like, I've never made it. But
nice.
If you could get some fish heads, like miso soup.
I had no idea miso soup was fish heads.
Well, it's like after they fillet it, like it's the head and the fin and the spine and all that crap.
That's why you never eat that. I never eat that
broth with.
Right. Whenever they come out, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Cool.
Beat it up.
I didn't know.
I would try it once.
I just learned something new.
I would try it once. I'm not saying I'm not, taking everybody's, fish heads. And stuff. I'm not that guy, but I would.
Fertilizer.
Right. I would keep mine.
All right. So let's say I go out. I've been half day fishing a couple times and I want to take that next jump. I want to do an overnight trip. I want to do a 1, 2, 3 day overnight. Like, what is that next step?
Well, to start overnight trips, you leave the night before around 9 o'clock at night. I like to go out on the Fury. If any of those guys are watching,
Shout out.
That's Dana Wharf. It's a great crew. I've been on that boat a few times. Great guys. You leave around 9 o'clock at night.
And are you hanging out a little bit and then conk out around midnight? Like, how does that?
Out. That's when I have my one beer that night.
Right.
talking to a couple guys that I'd never met before, and just kind of making small talk, and then once they pick up the bait, anchovy, sardines, and chop up some squid for the morning, you go to your bunk, and there's two sides, and there's bunks for everybody.
And what time are you turning in at?
Probably 10-ish, I would say 10, 11, something like that. So you're getting a good 5 hours sleep. I have no problem sleeping on boats. I mean, it's great.
So that's what Mike and I were talking, right? And I'm like, my perception is you're down there, you have like the engine room right there, all the oil and the exhaust is just like coming into the area you're trying to sleep. Is that totally not the way it is?
Look, I like to sleep right by the door. Right by it.
Just in case?
Yes.
All right, hey, just in case. There's always a just in case.
Yes, I don't want to be down at the bottom, way in the back.
Right.
No. For whatever reason, in my head, I like to be the first one, boom, gone. So that's the bunk I take. No one takes it, and so I don't worry about it.
So the overnight, you're getting that next level fisherman,
I would
right?
say.
Now you're kind of getting someone that's...
You're getting a few of the next level fishermen on a half day or 3/4 day. You're getting a few of those guys. You're getting 50% more on the overnight boat. Like you're going to the next level. So when the engine begins to stop and you hear it in the morning, you're there. So they're
And is it like a mad scramble up on deck? Everybody like...
For some people, they don't get up, which is crazy to me. Like, why are you there?
Right.
I just mentioned that it's the next level people, but some of these next level people aren't getting up because that's when you catch the big fish because they're putting you on them.
Right.
They're putting you on that whatever's out there at that time. They're putting you on them.
Is there a preferential spot on the boat you want to be when you're fishing?
Okay. The back of the boat. Yes. That's where they're putting you. I go on the side. It's not much different. I try to go where there's less people because I know if I hook up, shit, it's crazy. And like I mentioned earlier, those lines, those fish are going to go where they want to go, and they're smart, and they find rocks, and they find anchors, and they find your own anchor, and they wrap it around, and they're trying to snap you off. They're smart. It's crazy.
So you get to your spot, you get out there, right? You've been traveling all night, you get 5 hours of sleep, and now you're further out, right? So now you're...
San Clemente Island if you're going on the Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And does that just feel a little more remote? You're not right outside, you're not driving by Balboa Pier.
It does. But when you get out there, you're not the only boat out there. Everyone is onto this. Everyone talks. There's like 10 boats out there and they're close by. And a lot of these fish, if you hook up, they'll go to those boats' anchors. And if they get too close, yeah, I know. So that's what's going on. I mean, they all know the hot spot.
So does that come down to the captain and that charter that you're on to get there, to get to that point, into a spot for everyone who's on that boat to have success?
Yes. And then it runs its course. The fish come and they go.
Typically, how long is that?
I would say a couple hours. They're going to try to let everyone try to catch the fish. So the last boat was very, very successful. There was some massive halibut caught. Massive. I mean, those were actually the fish of the trip. They were huge. I mean, I mentioned the sea bass, which were, their girth is huge, but the halibut was equally as big. Maybe not as big a girth, but you're getting all meat on that. You're taking that home. That halibut's a better fish than any of those other ones.
Yeah,
it's a great fish.
Sure.
So there were 3 or 4 massive halibut, maybe 5 or 6 huge white sea bass, lots of yellowtail, and then once that runs its course, then they move locations. They're like, it's done here. So they want you to catch, they want you to have success. They want those numbers high in the morning when they put the fish counts up online and move to the next spot.
And then do they provide breakfast, lunch? Do you need to bring everything you want to eat on board?
You can bring snacks of your own, but again, you are paying for that stuff on the boat.
But they will make it. Like they'll make breakfast, they'll make lunch.
They'll let you know a breakfast window. They'll let you know a lunch window. And that's pretty much it on an overnight boat. And that's when they are cleaning the boat and cleaning the fish and collecting the money.
So you wake up, you get on the fish, you hook something, you get it to the top of the surface, right? Now what? What do I do? I got it. I can see it. I can't.
It's not like in the lake,
Physically-
you just dip the net in and go, all right, we
It's
got
not
it.
lake fishing.
No nets are going to work with those fish.
So how does it work? I managed to get it to the top. Now what?
Deckhands are amazing with this. They have their gaffs ready to go. You call out color because when you call out color, now you can see the fish, right? It's down there on the bottom. It's rising to the top. Oftentimes they'll circle, like what happened with that, with those yellowtail with the 2-speed. When they're spiraling up, you're getting ready to go. And the deckhands are right by you. They have a gaff.
The gaff, just a hook on a stick.
It's a hook. Once you puncture that fish, they're done. That's it. If it's a huge fish, they'll get a couple gaffs, 2 or 3 gaffs, depending on the weight of it. But, a 40-pound yellowtail, one is enough. They'll gaff it, they'll bring it up, and they bag you. They put it in a bag. So before you go on the boat, you get a number. And you get a gunny sack. And they have it linked. And they go, what number are you? And what they'll do is they'll have a little tag. And they'll staple that tag to the gill of the fish. Put it in the bag. If it's big, they'll put it on ice first. They'll put it down. And then later on, they'll put it in your bag.
So they're taking care of that. Once the fish is on the boat, the deckhands are taking care of your fish, and you're, I would guess, running to go grab more bait to put your line back in the water.
You want to catch more fish.
Yeah.
You want to go. And that's why these guys do such a great job. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you have to think about what these guys are doing. These deckhands, I mean, you talk about blue collar dudes. They come back on an overnight trip. They clean the boat. They get it all set up. And they go right back out. Think about that.
Damn.
Think about that. It's crazy to me. I'm like, holy shit. These guys have been out here for 7 days. I mean, you talk about salty dogs.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be? But they're not. They're great. They really are. I mean, they're very helpful.
And then as far as the tipping goes, same as a half day.
20%. Pay them. That's my opinion. Pay them. Yeah, they earn it. They're there to help you, and it's great.
And that's the starting point. If someone was extra nice or went out of their way to help you or do something, then you're going to give them a little something extra for the effort.
A lot of people do. Oftentimes, what they do is they'll have a jackpot too. When you go on a boat.
Talk about that. What's the jackpot?
Yeah, so there's a jackpot. When you go on, you're in for the jackpot, and they have it set at a certain price, and the jackpot could be $5, could be $10, and so it's for the biggest fish. And they say no skates, and no skates are like, the stingrays and the bat rays and all that stuff. So none of those guys, but there's a jackpot. Some people will give up the whole jackpot to these guys.
Right.
Some people will keep it. Some people will give half. I got a jackpot last time for a very small fee. I'm like, I gave it to the guys. I'm like, I had a great time.
Yeah.
Here you go. So that's kind of fun too. And they weigh it, and it kind of makes things kind of interesting. They have this They have this little weight thing, and someone wants to see how their fish lines up, and it will tip one way or the other. So it's
Is everybody looking there like,
Oh, yeah.
It's not that dramatic. As a matter of fact, at that point in time,
make it dramatic, Brian.
We would be dramatic.
I would love to make it dramatic for you, Mr. Mark, but I don't know if I can, because a lot of people at that point in time, it's a long. So if we're talking overnight boats,
Yeah.
they're tired.
Okay.
So people are having that beer like I would, and I'm going down in my bunk, and I'm waking up when they get to the dock.
Right.
So
you'll fish, and then, so if you're doing a 2 or 3 day,
oh my God.
so is that just kind of a rinse and repeat, fish for a certain time, then go to a new spot, fish, go to a new spot?
They're always searching.
Mm-hmm.
They're always looking for fish. A great deal is a 1.5-day boat. And here's how the 1.5-day boat works. You leave at night. You wake up in the morning. They put you on fish. You fish all day. You put yourself to bed that night. You wake up on the dock the next morning. So think about it. You're getting a full day. And you sleep on the way to the fish. You fish. You sleep on the way home. You're home. You're done.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And the food's pretty good?
I mean, it's
Greasy Spoon, right? Like it's like diners, like eating at
yes, it's really
All right,
good.
so
I equate it to the experience, right? It's like when you go camping, right? Like food camping, it has that, you have the campfire smell in your nose, and like food just tastes better when it's cooked outside and you're camping. Like same on the boat, like you have that fishy, briny smell and you smell of exhaust, and you get that breakfast sandwich because you're hungry and you're like, oh,
Right.
this is a really good breakfast sandwich. And all things being equal, it's probably not the greatest ever. And anywhere else you would be like, this thing's crap.
Probably not.
But in that moment, like it just fits. Like this taste goes with this environment.
Yes, I do buy a breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
I do. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Mike, that's a great point. I 100% agree with that. You're not at home. You're having this burrito. You're out in the water, and it does make it that much better.
It's equal to the experience.
For sure.
What do you love about being on the open ocean?
Well, I mean, you're at nature. You're not thinking about work. Work is gone. You're not thinking about driving the kids anywhere. It's you and nature. I alluded to it earlier in the fact that I go on a lot of these trips by myself, and I am completely good with that. It's something different than what I do on a daily basis because, I get home at 9 o'clock at night, and, it's me at peace. It's very cathartic for me. I mentioned, we've talked about the gardening stuff. I love that. It's peaceful. I do it by myself. Fishing is a lot the same way. That's why I want to do this a lot. So I'm at peace. Whether I catch fish, whether I don't catch fish, I still have a great time, So it's fun.
No, I think what I love about you is the doing it alone, because I am someone that if my buddies weren't available, I wouldn't do it. So for someone that's listening, or even myself, if I've never done that, because I feel like the deep sea fishing can be a solo endeavor that you can do, right? And you have all these guys around you, and like how you've said, everyone is supporting, they're there to help, whether it's the deckhands or fellow fishermen. To take that step and to go do it, what advice would you have for someone?
You just got to go. Some people go in groups. That's their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of people that go by themselves, and they just chill, and they're having a great time, and they meet people. There's no issue at all. But you have to have the love. People that go by themselves, they have the love. If you're going by yourself and you don't love it, it doesn't happen. It just does not happen.
Good point.
That's a really good point. I wanted to ask you, is there something where you think someday you will go down to the tip of South America or do a longer excursion, hit a bunch of ports? Is that something you see yourself doing in retirement?
I am evolving. So the answer is yes.
You're like, let's get to a 4-day first.
Let's go. So I've done 1.5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Day and a half is what they call them.
So what would the next, for you, what does that next one look like?
2 day. I don't know what that looks like, but it's a 2 day. You can get a 3. I mean, I know people that do 15 days. Right. They're living on the ocean.
Would that be hard for you to be like gone that long?
Right now, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have kids.
Right. Could you just sit, like not sit, but be on the boat day after day?
Me, I think I have a limit.
Yeah.
I could go 2 days, no problem. I can go 3 days, no problem. Beyond that, I think that would be an issue. It'd be tough.
Right.
It's a long time away. You're on the water. Oftentimes, you're not even seeing land. On that trip, I might need someone else with me. That social connection might be important. But a day and a half, I'm here to fish. Get the hell out of my way. Let's go.
All right. So you get your fish, right? Amazing experience. Deckhands get it all ready for you. As you're leaving, right, and you get home, what do you do with the fish? How long does it last?
You're supposed to cure it. And
how does that? Yeah.
How do you cure it? With salt. You put it in salt for an hour, or you freeze it.
So do you leave, and what do they put in Ziploc bags? So then you need to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Get it on ice. Most people come with coolers because they're expecting to catch fish.
Right.
There's ice in the coolers. Put them on ice. Get them home. They immediately process it. And so why do you cure it? You cure it because of potential pathogens, little, any kind of parasite that might be in there. So the two things that will kill it are salt, which I've screwed up on a few times, or you freeze it and then de-thaw it and it's fine because everything is dead. fish can be.
So if you just throw it in the freezer, how long does that last? Like, is there an optimal, hey, I want to have this within X amount of time?
Well, if you, what do you call that?
Come on, Mike, you have one of these.
The vacuum? Yeah, I have one of those. I have one of those.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
They're awesome.
They last for like 6 months.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Take all the air out. Oh, it's amazing.
So vacuum pack them.
I got to imagine how you cook it depends too. So if you had something that you kept longer, would probably hold up to like deep frying for fish tacos more than maybe like a ceviche or something, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So depending on how you're going to cook it is going to depend on how long you want to keep it.
I would think so.
I would think. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not an expert, but
So you mentioned yellowfin tuna that we had on the deck. You mentioned how good that was.
So the best pokey, and again, not because you're here,
So good.
I've ever
It
had in
was
my
good.
life. And I will eat fish every day, anytime, anywhere. Love it. Never will turn it down. Brian had gone fishing. This was 4th of July weekend, maybe.
Like 4 years ago,
Yeah,
5 years ago.
4 years ago. I think you had gone the week before, within days. And we go over to his house the 3rd of July. He invites us over and there's a fireworks display and all these things. So we get there and he is whipping up this pokey. He's like, dude, I just, you can't even like explain the freshness and just how that tasted.
It was so good. And I have to confess, it was not cured, which is probably what made it that much better. Like, it's fresh. It's
That was
fresh
fresh.
off
That was
the boat.
legit.
Now, look, if you go to Mexico, they cut the tuna right there on the boat. So that's not cured. I mean, you're going to probably be just fine. And you have a good recipe. Oh, it was amazing.
It was. And I default to that. Anything fresh, homemade will always beat restaurant.
100%.
It just does.
Yes.
We were in Honolulu. One of my friends, he moved over there and he is the fish purveyor for the island. So he brought by 2
Seriously.
ahis. I mean, just, everything. And we cut that up and we did a pokey. But we were saying, even if we went to the St. Regis, he's like, Mark, it doesn't matter. Everyone gets the same fish. The St. Regis will charge you $50 for a, sushi roll. The dolphin will charge $40. You go to Kapa'a, it's a lot less. But just having it in the house we were renting, doing our own little soy sauce, just was the best thing.
You can't beat fresh.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's your tomatoes or anything out of the yard or fresh fish, you just can't.
So that's the other huge benefit.
Yeah.
You're out there, you go fishing, you love being on the water, you love the excitement and just the work you put in to get the fish. Then to take it home and to get to share that, right? And it's something that you physically caught.
I love to give stuff away. I love to give fish away because I'm not going to eat it all. My family does not eat fish. I blame my wife for that one. But my mom and dad will.
yeah.
My mom and dad will. And my friends will. I know the Cavistons will. I know that the Weisses will. I love to give a lot of it away because I can't. And if you catch an 80-pound animal, 50-pound animal, that's a lot of meat.
Right. Yeah.
If you catch a halibut that's as big as this table, they're all meat.
Right.
They're minimal bones, and that's the best fish possible. So yeah, I like to give it away and share, and that's kind of my personality, anyways. So I like it. It's good.
Yeah, and that shows in you. You definitely are that type. And I think all of us, right? When you can, something that you caught or you did or you, like when you bring your beer over, right? Like Mike did a holiday beer. He did an Oktoberfest. He created, when I was in Tachino, he recreated that beer, right? And so to get to share, that's one of the things he talked about, right? To get to share that with friends, it's just that extra special, right? It's just something special about that.
Right.
So,
I don't disagree with that. I mean, you catch something.
yeah.
It's my personality. I love it. And if everyone else can have some,
Yeah.
it's great. Mike, you'll get some next time.
Have you ever gotten skunked? Have you ever gone out on a boat and come back with nothing?
Yes, absolutely. That's part of the process.
It happens.
It happens for sure. Taking a look at the fish counts days beforehand, that's what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then oftentimes getting on a boat last minute, taking a look at the head count on the boat, you don't want a lot of people.
Yeah.
If there's 50 people, I'm not going on that boat. It's too much. It's a problem.
I would assume that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be more busy than on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
There are days. Midweek is better.
Yeah.
Yes.
So better to take a day off, go out on a boat than try and squeeze it in on an open weekend.
Mike, I never take days off.
That's a
What are you talking about? I don't take days off.
No days off.
that about?
No days off. So if Mammoth got 3 feet fresh powder.
I don't ski.
All right. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. All right. So I got some quick hitters.
Go ahead.
I got some quick hitters. Favorite fish to catch?
Because I have not caught one, because I've got schooled by it, bluefin tuna. I mean, any bluefin tuna, 25, 50, 100, anything.
So that's your white whale. That is
Yeah,
your.
give me a bluefin tuna. Yes. Yes.
Will that be a walk-off moment if you do get the bluefin? And
Like
it is-
walk off in terms of I'm done?
Like I'm good. I got this sucker up.
Hell
Okay,
no.
all right, hell no.
That's actually just motivation for me to. I mean, look,
Get the next-
I've been skunked. I want to keep going.
Yeah.
it's a milestone fish.
Oh yeah, it's good.
All right. What is your dream fishing spot? Anywhere in the world. You can go one place, take your buddies. Everything's perfect.
Well, I've been to Cabo, so I can't say Cabo. I'm gonna go with Costa Rica. Costa Rica, because I've not been there, and I hear the fishing's great. I hear you can catch like Dorado from the shore.
You wouldn't charter a boat and go out?
No, I would
Oh.
absolutely, but my point is that you can catch fish everywhere there,
Right.
everywhere there, which is nice, including from the shore, which you can't catch Dorado here.
Right.
There's no way.
All right. What is one piece of fishing gear you can't live without?
Well, besides sunglasses, because my eyes are super insanely sensitive. I mean, I got to have sunglasses. I would go with a belt and pliers. And you have the belt on and the pliers are attached to it because you're constantly using it. You know, if there's a fish that, if it's a small fish, you just pop it off. You don't need the deckhands, but the pliers also have, you can cut as well. I mean,
When you say pliers, you mean needle nose pliers?
yes. Needle nose pliers.
In a pouch connected to a belt.
Connected to you. You don't want to go looking for it. You want to save time. You want to be efficient.
Probably brings up a good point. Like, so you have your rod and reel, you got that at the rental shop, right? Well, I mean, like really, like I'm walking on the boat, like
Yeah.
what are the other things I'm supposed to bring? Like I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I got that in my bag,
I'm good for 4 days.
right? Sunglasses key when that sun's
Huge.
banging off the
Yeah.
water.
I can't
you'll
deal
get-
with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get ruined. Sunblock's probably a good idea. A hat's probably a good idea.
Correct.
Are you long sleeves or short sleeves?
Long sleeve. Good point. Good question. Absolutely long sleeve. Long sleeve. Hat's never a bad thing. I mean, you have to imagine that sun is cooking off that water,
Right.
reflecting off that water. It's going everywhere.
Right.
So my eyes are super sensitive. That's why I like sunglasses for sure. But long sleeve, I mean, you're not going to get hot on the water. There's a great breeze.
Yeah.
For sure.
So the last 2 questions I'm going to ask you. So why should everyone do a half-day deep sea fishing trip?
It's something different because you've never done it before. So I think everyone needs to try something new. And you're most likely going to catch something. And that success might take you in a different direction. Like, I never expected to love fishing this much. You catch that one fish, it could be a tiny calico bass that you have to throw back because it's too small. But it may be something that you might love and get you off the couch, stop gaming, stop playing on your phone, and go get out to nature. And you're going to have a great experience.
That's perfect. I grew up lake fishing, stream fishing, river fishing. Why should everyone that grew up that way at least do one day on the ocean?
Because you're going to catch something that's going to rip your damn arm off. And you're going to be like, what the hell's going on right now? Like, this animal is kicking my ass. Talking about if you're catching an animal, that's all muscle. So it's a different experience and it's an adrenaline kick. You're going to love it. It's going to hook you and you're going to want to catch something bigger for sure.
Yeah, see, Mike thought pulling a 18-pound salmon out of Alaska was the best thing ever.
The environment was the best thing ever. Standing waist deep, catching salmon as eagles were flying above my head.
That's nice. That's pretty.
Pretty
Yeah,
freaking
that's
cool.
nice.
Hey, that's pretty.
It was pretty
Hey,
freaking cool.
that's pretty.
Yeah,
How much did that salmon fight?
they're big, so they're moving.
Hey, but Brian, do you see how he said they're big, and he didn't do the table. He didn't go like they're. He said like he did that, like not even shoulder.
They were probably like
You know.
That's good size, though.
No, yeah, they were.
Just say, hey, that's
good size.
cute. Say that's cute.
Hey, look, if you have lower gear, it's going to make it that much more fun.
That's true.
Hey, if you're in the
It was on 5-pound test. I mean, for the
Oh, yeah.
record,
Hey,
yeah.
at least it wasn't 2.
Right.
Well, that was my dad's big thing. He would always 4-pound test, right? He's like, because that was his whole thing. Hey, I can get any fish in because I'm like the master fisherman. So Lenny is a big like 4-pound test. That's all I'm going to use. All right. So Brian, I've done half days. Why should I do an overnight trip?
Because you have the potential to catch bigger fish. You just have to be prepared. People know more. They're more experienced, but they're still helpful. The local half-day fish, again, they're going to put you on as quick as possible because their window is shorter. When you go on that overnight boat, they get you there overnight. They put you on fish at 4 a.m. and you're going to fish all day. It's amazing. You're going to catch some big stuff. Potentially. Not always, because I have been skunked before.
And for everybody listening that wanted me to say it, yes, bigger is always better.
It is. Just be prepared.
Be prepared. All right, what else you got? Do you have any final?
I just want to say, so it sounds like it's very approachable, deep sea fishing. It sounds like you don't have to be an expert. If you can be humble enough to ask for help, a lot of people are willing to help you, whether it's the deckhand, the captain, the other fishermen on the boat. So you don't have to be an expert. You can get in at a pretty fair price point. You don't have to go out and do a huge investment and buy your own gear. You can rent gear. So anybody that's interested in trying this, it's approachable and we think you should. If you do try this for the first time because you listen to this podcast, please drop us a comment and let us know how it went.
And just remember, we are putting Brian's cell phone number. He does say any questions, anything you want to ask him, that will be available.
Yeah.
So, dude, Brian, we are so stoked you came in. We really appreciate your time. I feel like you really laid it out on what it is to go deep sea fishing. If I've never been, if I want to do it, we really encourage everyone to really take that step and try it. You will not be disappointed. And I think what Brian said, his entire theme tonight was it's super accommodating and they're there for you. They're gonna bring you in and show you the ropes.
Absolutely. It's a great experience. Enjoy it, have fun, and hopefully you can make it a lifetime experience. It's something that I'm gonna do, down the line for sure.
Thanks everybody. We'll see you next time.